Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you already know, this is your US General 5-drawer tool cart with side tray and deep compartment. Today is Sunday, okay? As you can see, we just now making it over to the storage unit, all right? About to get busy, get back to it. Got quite a few modifications to finish getting through. In today's video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back a little bit. If you follow the videos in the last couple of days, you would know that I've been demonstrating and talking about a Husky um, mesh perma grip toolbox drawer liner, just as well as the Husky magnetic cordless organizers, and how to do certain particular modifications, whether you just regularly have a normal standard um, service card, or whether it's a US General or whatever, whichever brand or whichever make, depending upon your suits and your needs. If you just happen to need cordless solutions and cordless organization and things of that nature. Okay, just as well, in this video today, I will also be doing a little comparison amongst item that I picked up early in the week, which is a 1/4 inch lock-in flex head Mako soft grip comfort grip ratchet, testically compared to a couple of other ratchets, just in my opinion, because I have been taking notice to certain features and things like that. Okay, as I actually have it in hand, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about that also. But for right now, I'm not gonna hold up everybody too long in the introductory of things. But as always, state as usual, I always keep my signature lingering somewhere in the background. My Dunkin' Donuts coffee. You already know. Okay. So pretty much, we're gonna do the follow up. Like I said, got quite a few modifications to finish up, so you're gonna be able to get a good bird's eye view of that. So we're gonna dive right into it. So walk with me. Let's get it. Okay, if you've been somewhere MIA and you haven't been keeping up on the videos, okay, just to bring you up to speed a little bit real quick, as you can see to the inside drawer, this is the Husky Perma Grip Mesh Toolbox Drawer Liner, just as well as I implied it here, okay, underneath the side tray. All right, and the last couple of videos been doing quite a few modifications. As you can see how basically the cart is trimmed out all the way around the cart. Okay, and a last previous video I was showing a demonstration as far as making a stencil, okay, for the magnetic cordless tool organizer when it comes to the Husky Permagrip mesh toolbox liner, and applying it with a regular foam drawer liner. Okay, I did finish that process yesterday, so I'm gonna give you a little good bird's eye view of that and how it came out. And I will be installing that today in this particular video, just as well as I will also demonstrate how it's to be done, just in case you're interested, if the information can help someone out there. All right, so let's get to it. Walk with me. Okay, first and foremost, in that last previous video, okay, I was talking about, how to create the stencil, okay, just as well as you see, I have the Gorilla Glue Spray Adhesive, which is a heavy duty spray, okay, and as you can see how I had the stencil made and I cut out the inserts of the stencil, okay, and as you can see, it's just, a regular normal piece of cardboard. Okay, what made my situation become a little bit more easier is because I actually have two of the cordless magnetic cordless tool organizers in order to get a certain dimension without going through the extremes, because I already actually have one that's on the cart. So by it technically being on the cart, sometimes it becomes a little bit more harder, okay? But this is why I prefer, for individual, if they are looking for one of these cordless magnetic tool organizers in order to put on any of your service carts or your trays or boxes or anything like that. If you are to do a modification like this, I would suggest that you would start with this process first before actually installing it. Okay, so just as well as I showed that the stencil was made in that there's two different materials, which is the foam drawer liner, and then you also have the Husky mesh perma grip, which is a mesh material. Okay, and what you basically want to do is you want to combine the two materials into one material. All right, so I'm going to give you a good bird's eye view of that, just in case you missed the previous video, just to give you a little slight demonstration to show you how it was done. Okay, just to give you, a little brief, quick step by step. All right, how I first started everything is, like I said, I just got a simple piece of cardboard, cut it into a rectangular shape. Okay, and as you can see, what I did was is I placed it to the inside, and as you can see, I used a black marker, and I traced everything out. um at the prior moment, by me trying to hold the tablet and trying to hold it at the same time, I'm trying to get it as even as I can, but you do get the idea. Okay, it wasn't only until it was time for me to basically combine the two materials together where that I actually cut out these center inserts. But I'm gonna show you how that was done. Okay, like I was stating that, if you already have your cordless tool organizer connected to your cart, it would be, a little bit more harder and a little bit more technical. But because, as you can see, I actually have two of them, it made things a whole lot much more easier. Okay, so in that demonstration, what I was explaining, and as you can see, the two different materials, which this would be your regular normal standard foam drawer liner. Okay, and then what you have here is your Husky perma grip, as you can see, which is a mesh grip drawer liner. Okay, this is not made out of a foam. This is more like a it's more like a plastic, but it's non-slip. Okay, so there's no concern of, the tools rolling or not sticking, like, how the foam. And what this does is it basically sucks up the moisture and things like that, you know what I'm saying, and it separates it from the tools. Okay, but what was done, okay, as you can see here, like I demonstrated also in the other video. Okay, this is how things would look with the, with the two materials. But what you want to do is, okay, what you want to do is first combine these two materials at the same time using this Gorilla Glue spray. And what you would like to do is you would like to apply it to the foam liner. Okay, and then you basically place the perma grip wherever you would prefer in your desired specifications. Press firmly, make sure that you don't get no air pockets or anything like that. Another thing that I want to point out about this perma grip, when you have it in hand, you can tell the difference between the front face of it and the back face of it, just as well as, your normal standard um drawer liners. Okay, because your drawer liners actually look different compared to both sides. Okay, these are things that you will take notice to when you have these items basically in your hand. Okay, now how I basically acquired getting the proper measurement cutouts and these certifications. Okay, once um I was able to establish this piece as a whole, okay, and got it to the top of this particular magnetic cordless tool organizer, to give you a good idea of how things was. I'm quite sure you're going to be able to get the idea now that everything is laid. But on this side you would actually see the black foam liner. So now you just basically take your box cutter and you cut the inserts out. Okay, so that's how you will basically acquire that. So now I'm going to give you a good visual of the finishing touches to that, because today in the modification, okay, I'm going to be implying and installing that. All right, So you're going to be able to get a first good bird's eye view of that. Okay, now moving along. Now, as you can see, I have both materials established together, as you can see, and you can see basically the regular normal standard foam liner up underneath the mesh permagrip. Okay, so all the measurements is cut out properly. Okay, as you can see, and basically this is how things would technically look. Okay, once I have everything flush flat on its surface, all right, and then just as well as I do have the black trimming and the black molding, to go to the inside. What I intend to do towards the outside is apply a black molding, okay, and then corner guards for each corner, just hypothetically speaking, just in case somebody came walking by the card and they just happened to bump the card or something like that. Okay. And another thing is with having the foam guarding at its edges, when you go to sit the guns on the inside, okay, it will be able to have something sitting soft on, just as well as the lining and the trimming will be able to hold the guns in the compartments a whole lot much more tighter without any back and forth sideways play. Okay, so just to give you you know a look at that. We're gonna get everything down, all right? Give you a little bird's eye view of how that's about to look, okay? So let's dive into it. Okay, so now I actually have the permagrip permanently applied, okay, to this particular side tray, okay? Um, I may also have a plan to do the bottom surface also, okay, where either a charger or something else that I may possibly decide, to keep underneath the guns, okay. I may cut out another piece for that and get that part done off also just as well, and possibly put some trim underneath that part of the tray. But this is basically how the Husky mesh um, perma grip is actually coming out. Not for nothing, this really stands out on the cart. In the video, as you're taking a look from the outside in, it looks a certain way because you just basically see the black and the red, and yes, the red do stand out on the black, but in person, this really like stands out when you see it live in person up close. Okay. So I am about to get to quite a few things. All right. I just wanted to put that out there because, like I said, I am finishing up a few different modifications. Like I get very creative in certain areas. So we're gonna get into it. So just walk with me. Okay, another thing that I want to point out real quick. All right, when it comes to like these particular trims, all right, because of the curvature and sometimes depending upon how thick and how sturdy that they are, um because I have the tool cart located at a storage unit, and I don't have the power supply that I need to use my heat gun, because my heat gun is electrical corded. Okay. um Depending upon where you have your tool storages located and things like that, I would suggest when going to install these, because sometimes once again, depending upon the curvatures of things and how sturdy that they are, it's best to use a heat gun, okay, in order to soften up the material. Okay, if you don't have a heat gun, then what I would suggest is to like boil it in hot water, okay, so that it can basically soften up, so that you can be able to curve it and move it in whichever direction that you possibly need for your specification. I'm quite sure you get the idea as far as what I'm saying to you. All right. But just, just to point that out real quick. Okay. Okay, now to go into things, a little bit more further. If you notice what I did with the handle, okay, I also use piece of drawer liner, okay, the foam underneath the perma grip, and I applied it to the handles, as you can see here. Okay, give you a nice, good visual of that. All right. Okay, so moving along, you can see how certain things is coming out. Okay, and like I said, how you can see, how I just applied the perma grip to the handle. All right, and the magnetic cordless tool organizer. All right, just as well as the drawers and things like that of that nature. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to move along into this comparison real quick among some quarter-inch equipment. All right, from an item that I picked up earlier this week, which is a quarter-inch lock and flex head Mako comfort grip. All right, so I'm gonna get some items out. We're gonna take a look at it. More enough, this is I won't say that this is a rant or anything like that. It's just my personal opinion. Once I basically got the item in hand and was able to get it in hand, really take a look at things, testically compared to some other quarter-inch equipment that I basically have. All right, so we're gonna dive right into it. Let's get it. Okay, now that I got some items out, all right, I'm gonna go back, all right, to the side tray right here, all right. And as you can see, I actually have the quarter-inch lock and flex head that I just basically picked up earlier this week. Just as well as you can see, I have other quarter-inch equipment, from non-lock-in to standard handle to lock-in to even the roto head additions, which is this, I believe this is 72 tooth right here. Okay, the Mako is an 88 tooth design, and the three snap-ons that are to the back are 80 dual designs. Okay, the thing that I just happened to notice, okay, is that each comfort grip are at basically the same size standard handles. Testically compared to the shafts on some of the other snap-ons, quarter inches, the way that the Mako feels at its shaft, it testically feels a little bit more thicker compared to, so to say, Snap-on's most longest quarter inch. Okay, you can't really see um, much of a difference, but in hand the Mako shaft does feel a little bit more thicker. Um, I definitely do not class this Mako, you know, as a more higher quality than the Snap-on. Um, when it comes to its durability, the durability of the ratchet really does not match the Snap-on, in my opinion. But a lot of users, they do prefer the Macos because of its thin head design. Okay, on this particular quarter inch lock and flex head, these comfort grips are really not as much of a comfort grip. This is really type hard. Okay, the material on these particular quarter inches, I don't know, technically compared to some older make lock and flex head quarter inches. The part number for this quarter inch is AFR98LFR. Okay. Um, when it comes to this handle, testically compared to the comfort grips of the snap-ons, these are more of a comfort grip than this quarter inch. But when moving into the higher drive sizes, of the Macos. I believe that their grips are a whole lot much more softer, because in the shop I have worked with a standard handle and a lock and flex head of a Maco and 3/8 drive. Okay, but during the time, those particular ratchets didn't belong to me. All right, I just happened on a simple job one day where I was called in on the opposite side of the shop, and instead of me, reaching for my own tools, I was actually going to help out another technician. And basically, they're big on Mako equipment. So in the process of me standing there, I just happened to ask, um, for him to pull out a 3/8 ratchet, and fortunately he handed me his Mako. And for the very first time when I got it in hand and I felt it, I said to him, yo, this grip, it feels really comfortable. I like the thin design and so on and so forth. But during that time, I already had my snap on. So like, I'm all the way in. I don't know what people like to call it, whether a snap on fanboy or Milwaukee quote unquote fanboy, and all of these different tool brand or tool company fanboys and things like that. Me, I'm not into all of that. Like, I don't care about none of that. What I care about is working with top of the line quality and getting efficiently, and being efficient and doing, my work. So that's just basically, about that. But there is, some things that I noticed with this particular model. I believe that some of their locking mechanisms on some of their other ratchets is a little bit more recessed than this 1/4 inch, but there is a bigger difference, between it in its design like this, testically, compared to the locking mechanism here. Okay, with that button, and then when you're moving into bigger drive sizes such as 3/8 drive and 1/2 inch drive, in certain particular applications, yes, it does matter, what I'm saying, depending upon, what you're trying to get in. Like, I have all of those drive sizes and all of those ratchets, okay, whether non-locking, standard handle, or locking, from 3/8 drive to 1/2 inch drive, not just 1/4 inch drive. Okay, so that's just basically about that. It's just some things that I just happened to notice, when I really took a good look at these 1/4 inch macros. All right, but like I was saying, that each ratchet serves its own purpose when called upon. Okay, this may have a thinner head design than some of the others. Okay, the snap-on 1/4 inch that is at the back actually has a longer reach, even though it does not have technically the feature of the locking mechanism. Okay, but if I needed something a little bit more longer with the leverage, that's when I actually go to my snap-ons, my extra long ratchet and wrenches, or I'll go to my Genius Professional double long box ends. Okay, if I need to basically break a fastener, if I need the ratchet away, I go to the ratchet and wrenches. Okay, but that's pretty much about that. It's just an opinion and just something that I just happen to come across. All right, it's not about me giving a review on the tool because it's a new tool. I haven't worked with it. I just basically got it. I know how the others do perform because I have used them in a professional setting. So pretty much is, not nothing. Plus, on top of that, a lot of 1/4 inch applications nowadays, I go to my 1/4 inch hex, okay, just as well as I have 1/4 inch stubby, or if I need to get into particular areas, I go to 1/4 inch ratchet, which I basically have right here. All right, just as well as, like I just stated, if I need to move in, with something a little bit more longer, okay, with the reach, and I just basically need to break the fastener, then I'll go to a smaller wrench as far as the double boxing or the ratchet and wrenches, which are basically down here that you can see. Okay, so that's just pretty much about that part right there. Okay, so like I said, I have that type of equipment, whether in locking, non-locking, standard handle, whether I need roto head, whether I need multi-position, um, it's just basically there, no matter, what the drive size, whether it's quarter inch, 3/8 drive or a half inch drive. Okay. Okay, so pretty much we're gonna wrap this part of the video up today, all right? Until that next tool haul, that next tool review, which will probably be coming tomorrow. So stay tuned to the videos because I am expecting some things that was already supposed to have been delivered, but they were moving a little slow. They have arrived in my area, but unfortunately today is Sunday, so more than likely I should be receiving them tomorrow. Okay, but that's just pretty much on some of the modifications. Like I said, I'm just now getting started, all right? Like, I'm not nearly finished. There's a lot that I got to get through and get done to this particular car so that I can move along with things. Have quite a few other things that I need to pick up. As you can see how this perma grip is coming along. I was thinking about doing some of the front face drawers um, with that same material. Still debating, not too sure just yet because I do actually like the chrome. I don't really want to take the chrome off. I don't want to plastic dip anything, and I don't want to paint anything. Okay, and a lot of people's modifications, they do a lot of painting, and there's nothing on this cart that's painted. Anything that's basically on this cart can basically be removed. If I decided to discard this card, and if a individual wanted to buy this card, the way that it is, that's all cool and fine. But everything that's on a card is not always technically going to be everybody else's preference. All right. So just hypothetically speaking, if somebody did decide, or I did decide to discard the card, everything is basically removable. Okay. So this is why I never have to go out my way to paint anything or rivet anything. It's the only thing that was drilled and put into place is the Husky magnetic cordless tool organizer, and I'm quite sure, if I was to discard the card, anybody is going to need that, along as the accessory to the card. They're not going to not want that because, that's a good part and portion to the cart, especially, when this cart doesn't come along with power supply. Okay, I will be getting along to that part also. All right, I'm just waiting for a few things, but I am gonna add the power source to this cart and things like that of that nature. All right, so like I said, stay tuned to the weekends. uh the items coming this week, you know stay in tune with things, and as you already know, I'm about to get to it. So you're gonna check you later. Peace.